Hello! I'm so excited because in this next hour I'm going to dive into writing the responses for this Learning Lab course. So depending on how much of this, long series you've watched, you know that this is live stream of me, Brianna, building a Learning Lab course about working in large repositories. So this is a public repository, so you can see what's going on if you actually want to look at the source code. It is published on Learning Lab, but only privately, so you cannot take the course yet. But also, if you've been watching, you'll know that that's okay, because it's not really worth taking yet. Last time on Wednesday, we were going through, and there's a specific action in here, in fact I can pull it up, that's create status. And Hector has let me know that that action actually has got a little bit of a bug in it, which makes sense because I was running into trouble. This is just not what I was expecting. I was putting in, a certain set of things in the config and expecting something to happen, and it wasn't happening. But other than this, this specific action, the config is actually in a really good spot. I was still able to get through the course with the exception of this create status action. So today I'm going to be working on the responses, so kind of shifting focus away from that specific action right now. So hopefully that can give the team some time to work on that, and if not, then I'll work on it again next time. After I'm done with responses. But responses are important, obviously, right? It's the content of the entire course. It's like what people are actually going to see. So you'll see in the writing a course thing, of course, there's planning, which we've already been through. We've got an outline, we've connected things with events. You have a flow, but making the actual responses is kind of important. So there's this writing responses portion. This is going to be important to know. There's these properties that can be variables. So if I want to link to something, I can just use repo URL. I know that that's going to be the repo. So this is a list of what variables are available. And here are some usage examples. So if I want to @mention the user, which is actually a pretty good idea, then this is what I would look for. I'm also, in the appendix, going to peek at the response best practices. So this is a file that I care for deeply. I care deeply that if you write a course, that the responses are formatted in a way that makes sense. Our whole team has put a lot of thought into what format makes sense. And this is the format. It's like title. What is it? This is where you describe the concept, right? The step presumably is teaching them something so they can do it and prove they know it. It's where you put stuff that would be part of a lecture. Think lecture and then lab. This is that kind of material. If it needs to be broken down into more pieces, like if this were like markdown, we could have lists and then segment it there. Once you begin the actual, it should be really clear, this is when you're learning and this is when you're doing something. I am really, really great at not following instructions, and as a learner, I get really frustrated if I'm going through something and I don't know if I'm supposed to actually do it or not. I think a lot of people struggle with that, right? They may not be aware of it, maybe they are. So we want to make it really, really clear, this is step blank. And if you remember back, as I was going through and just creating these base, just like a starter file, I was following this format broadly. Step something that's going to make it really clear what order we're going in, where a user is supposed to be. If they step away from the course and come back, they want to know where to start. And then on the actual activity, we want to give it a specific instruction. So it's the activity is close this pull request. Right? It should be really obvious and hard for them to screw up. This window keeps getting in my way. I know why. Sorry, I'm on other screen. Screen problems. And then in these smaller steps, we want it to be a numbered list. So they're okay, I do this, I do that, and I do the other thing. Have you ever followed a recipe that was badly written? It's every step is a paragraph and it takes you 15 minutes to get through each step. When I try to follow a recipe like that, it doesn't go good, right? The cake does not get baked because I lose track of let alone what step I'm in, but where in each step. It can be really confusing. So we want these to be short, right? Not more than a sentence, if at all possible. So they can say like, okay, 1, done, clearly. Because especially if they're going to another tab or something like that, we can tell them, hey, what to expect. If you did it right, I'm gonna comment in this pull request. That's what the bot says. And this is a good one too. Depending on what the action is, sometimes if a user does the right thing, the bot can respond, but the way that the page load time works out, the user won't see the response unless they refresh. So this is like, hey, you might want to do that. I don't put this in at every step, but it's nice to have sometimes. And this is also the place that you'd want to link, if it's not in this same issue, you'd want to link to whatever issue, whatever pull request, like where can they expect to, where should they go next? Like point them there, or else they're not going to know. Okay, there's a whole lot of other good stuff in here about like, if people want to contact you, like, oh, this is an important thing. Like, people are smart, and it can be kind of, if you're learning something, you have to admit you don't know something. That can be a little bit vulnerable. Sometimes as an author or as a teacher, you might want to say, this is going to be so easy, and because you want to encourage people to try it. But if I hear a teacher say that, and then I think it was really, really hard, then that might not be sending the right message, right? That might be sending a message of, oh, you know what? I'm not actually skilled enough to complete this course right now. Or if this was supposed to be easy and it was hard for me, this is not built for people like me. So while you're writing these responses, just watch your language. Say like, this is easy, this is simple, this will like take you 2 seconds or whatever. Like, the message you're probably trying to send them is that, hey, this is gonna be, I want you to do this. Like, I want to encourage you to do this. But it can have another, like, intention of one thing and the function of it can be different. So be aware of that. Try not to make your responses too huge. People won't read it. Next. Emoji. If you're gonna use an emoji, don't let it replace a word. Because if someone has a screen reader or doesn't try to say, and then I can edit separately. I can just copy paste that into Hemingway app and be like, okay, let's make this a little bit more readable. So I use 2 things separately. Highly recommend. Linking out to other things is great, but don't overdo it. If sometimes I do this a lot as a learner. I will open every other thing and think that is like some kind of prerequisite or I need to understand it. So I could spend hours going down rabbit holes of other topics that really aren't that pertinent. So if you have external links, keep them really, really pertinent. Try not to distract. A good thing that we've done in a lot of courses is, final post. If there's like extra stuff you want them to have, put it at the end so they're not going to get distracted along the way. Images are good. The details tag can be super helpful. This is a great little thing. So the details tag is something you can do with Markdown/HTML to take a huge block of text, and it's in these little cute drop-down menus. Use sparingly because we don't actually have any data on if people click those or not, other than anecdotal. And the anecdotal data is that they will not click them unless they really are aware of what's going on. And not everybody is. I know I'm not. Yep. Suggested changes. I'm not using suggested changes in this course, but you can use them sometimes. Like if you're trying to tell a user, hey, do this function in line 33 or whatever, you can have them do that by scratch, but you can also put in a suggested change. There's pros and cons. Pros being it makes it easy for them to finish the course. Cons being it makes it really easy to finish the course, so they don't actually have to understand what's going on. So be thoughtful about that. Next steps, warnings. Yep, okay, great. Let's get into it. So this is the pull request that's open. I'm gonna keep working in there, and I'm just gonna dive in. Let's just dive in. So let's see, I am also gonna look at the config. So this, again, with the responses, they're numbered. These are, all the zeros are things that happen in the before step. Oops, sorry, that's loud. Responses, there's no way I'm getting through all these responses in the next 50 minutes, but I'm gonna do my dadgum hardest. Okay. It is such a mind shift going from config to responses. So we've got the welcome issue. This is the first main welcome issue. I'm going to start here. Cross-linked. Well, you don't like how cross-linked is spelled? Let's see how this says it's supposed to be spelled cross-linked. Okay, fine. We can hyphenate it. Okay, welcome to, I'm just going to say welcome. And this is my first draft. I need to be serious here. Okay, welcome. Welcome to this Learning Lab course about working in large repositories. Whether they're repositories, or let's see, whether you're working in repositories with a lot of history, or with many collaborators, or all, or both, all of the above, it's important to know how to finagle, that's not the right word, how to navigate your workspace. Okay, see that I know is a really long sentence, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to come back to it later in that Hemingway app. Probably not even today. And let people know what they're getting into. This will also be in the readme. Oh, sorry, my nose is itchy. My nose is itchy and unrelated. I just cut up a bunch of really spicy cayenne peppers that I grew, so I don't want to touch my face. Okay. Okay. In this course, you'll learn how to find relevant issues and pull requests, search history to find the context, and what else? Nice list of 3 here. Find relevant issues and pull requests, search history to find context, and they will also make connections within GitHub to help others find things too. This is my first draft, doesn't have to be perfect. In this course, we'll do da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, yeah. And then I'm going to do a subheader. And I'll say, wait, is that the right thing? Actually, let me check the docs. Best practices, we go to the template up here. More detail should be a header 3. So header 3, it's going to be, I want to talk about cross-links. Cross-linking, I'm going to keep it consistent. Cross-linking issues and pull requests. I also need to move this over here so that, okay. Cross-linking issues and pull requests. Those are not proper nouns, so I'm not going to capitalize them. Okay. Within, you know what, I'm going to check and see if there's a way, let's see if I already have this somewhere. Let's see, github.io/training manual. So this is a training manual that we use for a lot of trainings. And we might talk about some of this. Collaborating on code. I just want to see if this already exists. I'm not trying to redo it. These different views, that's great. Dang. Nope. Okay. That's fine. That's just fine. I see that. Okay. Within GitHub, let's say GitHub has special capabilities to help reference other information on GitHub. For example, if someone links to a GitHub issue from another GitHub issue, even just by, and I'll put this in code so that it doesn't, number 3, a link is created to God, I'm saying issue so many times, to the other issue. God, let myself right. It's okay, I'll edit later. At the same time, a backwards link, another link is created in the referenced issue, referencing, gosh, this is such like a mind map, referencing the issue with the comment. This two-way reference helps people track relationships across GitHub. Okay, great. That's enough for now. Find and close the cross-linked issue activity. So here I know this is going to be like after the keyword, it's going to be the more detailed title. Find and close the cross-linked issue, like boom, that's it. That's descriptive. Here, step 1 is to be finding issues. Find an issue. Okay, that's like a shorter version, but that way it still is going to be clear. Let's see. I think I remember. Yeah. So this markdown previewer, how it's going to look. Except it'll have an actual keyboard there. And then this I'm going to need to break down into a numbered list. Hang on, sorry, I have to. Great. Okay, all good. This needs to be a numbered list. So 1, I'm just going to break this down a little bit. Maybe, okay, maybe there's anything to bring over? No, there's not. Describing course goals, really high level, and describing cross-links. Oh, so I already did that. Great. So find the issue that is cross-linked. I can also put some description here. Below, you will see a reference to another issue. In that other issue, a reference was made to this issue. Okay, we'll start there. Find the issue that is cross-linked and close it. Close that issue. Okay, let's see, that is it. I'm going to also, I just had deleted that we don't need multiple threads with the same thing. So I want to include that context of why we're closing it. The other issue appears to be a duplicate. So it would be a good idea to close it. We don't want to teach like, oh, if there's a duplicate, if like something is cross-linked, that means you should close it. Like, no, that's not the lesson here. The lesson here is you can find things that are cross-linked. You also don't want duplicated information. Okay, close that issue. Close that issue. Okay, cross-linked. Find the, see, this is also not clear because this is technically the cross-linked issue. Find the reference to the other issue. Let's see, find the other issue which is referenced in this issue. Okay, there's so many words of issue here. We're gonna have to just live with that for now. Close that issue. Okay, let me take a look at, that's not it. I wanna take a look at this. Watch below for my next response. That's not necessarily true. I'm gonna respond like everywhere, so I don't really think that that is something I need to do. But I do wanna do it. I wanna say I'll respond over there. I will respond with your next steps in that issue. I being the bot. And that looks like this. Cute. Okay. So that, okay, this is driving me nuts. Get rid of this. I tried to have this like special fancy window here to like help with lighting, and it's a problem. Problematic. I'm gonna commit this. I'm gonna overcommit this time around. Need to CD into the correct place. Overcommit, just, you know, it's easier to squash them later than to split them up later. Git commit -m direct response for first welcome issue. Now I'm gonna do this next, the next one next, because it references this existing welcome, and this one is gonna be, the whole purpose is that this has similar information. So let's just copy this. It does say number 1 in here, so that's gonna need to stay. Welcome to this Learning Lab course. I'll say welcome to the course. We're going to have some, we're gonna walk through some strategies for dealing with large repositories. Now I don't really need, let's see, this is a similar issue to number 1, but I'll let You decide if we should keep it or not. So that's not really true. I'm telling them in the other place to get rid of it, but whatever. Gonna get rid of this. I'll get rid of all this. It's fine. And then this really doesn't need anything else, actually, because there's no instructions here. They're just gonna close it. Git commit -m, fill in duplicate, should be in quotes, but because it's not really that much of a duplicate. Issue response. All right, bing, bang, boom. So create, these other ones add Git tips. Okay, so these are pretty simple. This pull request adds tips and tricks for using Git. Adds a page to the project, the documentation about tips and tricks for using Git. Add navigation. This pull request introduces navigation to the documentation structure. Nope. I don't think structure is necessary. Add new pages. This pull request introduces new pages to the documentation. This introduces the documentation structure. This pull request, RQUEST, introduces a structure for the documentation. So none of these are really going to be used, documentation, except for this add navigation, right? The user's going to come back there and have to find this later. But I still want to like fill this out with something, so it's not completely, nothing. Git commit -m, fill in PR bodies for before step. Great. Okay. 1 out of 6. Well, 1 out of 7 because that's before. Done. Okay. So 1 crosslink. Oh, and crosslink should be the first thing. Okay. Finding relevant history. This is a new issue that has content similar to another. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is killing my brain to do this. I'm very much a morning person when it comes to this type of work, but we're doing it. We're gonna get through it. This is a new issue. You know what? Actually, let's go back. Let's find an excuse to not move forward this fast. I'm gonna go through and put this into Hemingway now, so we can just see what it looks like together. I would normally do this all at the end, but I'm procrastinating. So look at that. What a long sentence. Whether that's too many or all of the above is like a phrase. So let's see. Whether you're working in repositories with a lot of history, let's make it smaller. Even though it did said it's a readability is grade 6, which is pretty good. I really want to like save where we can here. Maybe you're working. I'm not supposed to say maybe. For example, you could be working in repositories with a lot of history, or working with many collaborators. No matter the reason, no matter how your repository is largo, it's important to know how to navigate your workspace. Look at that. Just made that simpler. Presumably, that's easier to read now. In this course, you'll learn how to find relevant, this is a sentence. She's girthy. In this course, you'll learn how to find relevant issues in pull requests. You'll learn how to, let's make this a list. Find relevant issues in pull requests. Search history to find contexts. Make connections. Make connections with GitHub to help other find things. You'll learn how to do lots of things like, there we go. And that's just like its own little thing now. Now it's grade 5 readability. Fabulous. We're getting there, team. GitHub has special capabilities to help reference other information on GitHub. For example, we're getting into the issue talk. If someone links to a GitHub issue from another, if it links someone to a GitHub, it could be issue or pull request. How do I simplify this? Someone links to a GitHub conversation from another issue or pull request. Oh, that's so confusing. To a GitHub issue or pull request from another issue or pull request. A link, let's maybe remove that. A link is created to the other issue. See, excuse me. At the same time, another link is created in the referenced issue. See, that's just a confusing sentence. At the same time, another link is created in the referenced issue. For example, if someone links to a GitHub issue or pull request from another issue or pull request, a link is created. Okay, that's simple. That's obvious. Let's say someone references a GitHub issue, issue or pull request from another issue or pull request, a link is created. Okay, that sentence makes sense. At the same time, a cross-reference, let's do that, a cross-reference is created in the other issue. That's probably simpler. I think that is plenty. For example, if a user, someone, references a GitHub issue or pull request from another issue or pull request, a link is created. At the same time, a cross-reference is created in the other issue. The two-way reference helps people track relationships of information. That's going to be too many. Oh no, it's not like that, of information across GitHub. That looks much better. I didn't think we'd get there. I also want to note, links don't have to be, ooh, you know what, I'm going to do that later, because I have them create a cross-link later. So then I'll tell them, like, you can just do number 3 and it's fine. They don't need to know that right now. However, let me go here. I'm going to be like, you can just do number 3 and it's fine. But it's not really number 3. Hopefully I remember that. Okay. Find an issue. Step 1. Da-da-da. This was made. So it doesn't like my passive voice. And that other issue, the other is, so we can make this not passive. The other issue references this issue. Okay, fine. It's a better sentence. I give up. Find the closed issue. Find the other issue referenced from this issue. That's better. Okay, look at this. This is much better. Okay, copying this. I'm going to go put it back into this welcome issue. Okay, so that is going to be easier to read. Add get tips. Yeah, these can't get much simpler than that. This one also I expect to be fine. Yeah, okay, simple sentences. Okay. Let's commit it. I don't know why I'm doing the finger guns today. Git add, git commit, -m. Responses, clean up for first step. Oh no, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh gosh, it's not gonna happen. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hate that feeling. Oh wow, I really am trying to procrastinate. My body's trying to help me procrastinate. Okay, let's exit out all of these things. What are signals that you have for yourself when you know, you're like, oh, I'm trying to procrastinate? So I don't do it consciously. Finding relevant history. This is a new issue that has content similar to another issue, or they can be pull requests. They're not. Let's get rid of that. In an existing issue that has a related issue or pull. Okay, so that is fine. So I need to just talk about finding related history. Okay. This is an image that is kind of so what am I trying to teach you? The activity is please find the related pull request. So or finding a related issue. So I'm going to focus on what the activity is first and then figure out what is the background knowledge that the user would have to do this activity. Please find the related issue and create, so that's the first one. Please find the related issue. Like breaking these into, think about that recipe thing, right? If you're going to hand someone who's terrible at following directions a recipe to follow, like me, you don't want to give me paragraphs. Give me little steps. So like, okay, find the related issue. Has anyone ever done this activity? And Hector, if you're watching, or anybody from services if you're watching, I think this would be like a good activity to do for course authors, maybe at like a course author, if you ever have like a meetup in real life. I did this in 3rd grade. And the activity was everybody writes out instructions to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And then the teacher, we got to go up one at a time, and the teacher would actually make the sandwich exactly as we described it. So like intentionally showing us the areas that things were unclear in our writing. So like if I were to say, take out the bread, like take the bread out of the bag or whatever, then she would take like not the right amount of bread out of the bag. Or if I say, okay, put the peanut butter on the bread, she'd put it on like both sides of the bread or something, so that kind of, think like that when you're writing steps. Like how could people possibly not, like how could they follow the directions technically but still not do what you want them to do? Don't leave room for that. Don't leave room for people like me to mess up your sandwich. 2, create a cross-link with a short description. Okay, info, how to find issues and pull requests. Okay, I'm gonna cut just for my own brain, put that up there. Comment in this issue. So create a cross-link. Comment in this issue with a cross-link. Issue with a reference to the related issue. And then you can just do number 3, it's fine. Okay, and then I also want to do that. So I want, as a part of this, there needs to be, where's this? Cross, find, and link to a related issue. Create cross links. So here there needs to be how to find pull request, finding issues and pull request, and then creating references. So those are the 2 kind of subtopics. Finding relevant history. Okay, story time mode. When you're working in a repository, you might want to find other issues or pull requests. How are they supposed to find this? Okay, there are, I started for example earlier. Maybe someone has told you about a project or an issue and you are away from your computer. Or let's see, sorry about a project or issue, but they didn't send you a direct link and you need to find it yourself. Or maybe, what else happens? Maybe you remember an issue from the past, but don't know exactly where it is. You can search for issues and pull requests in many ways. Like what? Like by author, relevant text, or even the most recently updated. Oh, you can also search closed issues. So that is something that, is this issue going to be closed? Because that would be smarter. I should do that. I'll come back to this. The reason being, if you're looking at a GitHub repository, this is not it. It's not a good example because they're all going to be, well anyway, if you're looking at an issue, like if I'm looking for an issue, I'll see all the open ones. Unless I have a reason, like unless I know about it, I might not know that I can see closed ones. I saw this all the time when I was training people. So I want this issue that is created in the config here, I want it to be closed as it's, as they start the course. So this is, the one that is going to be relevant is called the similar one. Okay, the similar crosslink. I'm going to go to the config and find that. The similar crosslink. Ta-da-da-da-da. Okay, and then let's close this. So that's going to be a new action. Let's go find it. Probably close issue. It sure is. Close issue. Type close issue and then the title. Okay. Close issue, and then the title, and just not with a Y. Title with a Y. Paste that right there. Okay, so that they'll have to actually search the closed issues. I feel good about that. I like that idea. Okay, back to this. When you're working in your repository, you might want to Okay, this is. this anymore. You can also search closed issues. That's probably enough for now. In fact, this is going to be here. You can search for issues and pull requests in many ways, like by author, You can search closed issues. I feel like at that point I should include an image. Let me look at GitHub help search closed issues. I wonder if there's like already a screenshot or something that exists here that I can just nab. Search only issues. Search by open. Oh, they have it, but there's no pictures. Bummer city. But this is a really, really great thing to link to, so I'm going to link to this. You can read all about the different ways to search in the GitHub help documentation. Creating references. Now I know there's GitHub help docs for this too. GitHub help create references to, or maybe that's on GitHub guides. Create references to issues. They probably have something here too. Articles. Yes, this is exactly the one I'm looking for. I'll just paste that in there for now. So this, if you just don't already know by chance all the different like fancy things that it can do, you can link in just a bazillion different ways and it will automatically make it really cute for you. So that's nice. But what do I even need to say here? To create, when you link to another issue, a reference within GitHub is automatically created. In fact, you don't even need to include the full link. Try typing. Let's see, if you were to type within a comment, that would turn into a link to, sorry, my dog's behind me, it's funny anyways, issue or pull request number 5. There's a lot of different cool things you can do here. I want to tell them about if you start typing the title of an issue or pull request, after you type the pound symbol, GitHub will suggest issues or pull requests that will make it really easy to see. I'm doing it really easy. That will make it, that will link, so there's issues or pull requests that will link to the right place. And then here, to learn even more, check out GitHub's documentation. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a little break and just put this cone on my dog. Oh, he stopped. Yeah, you don't need to lick your paw. My Labrador. Should have put his cone on before this started. You're a good boy. GitHub's documentation. Okay, so that I think is good enough for now. Knowing this is gonna go through edits and whatever, all the other good stuff. Create crosslinks. Please find, oh, I already did this. Lovely, lovely. Okay, let's go to Hemingway and fix this up. Finding relevant history. Good boy. When you're working in a repository, you might want to find other issues or pull requests. Maybe it's like, don't use maybe. I'm going to use maybe. Maybe someone has told you about a project, or maybe someone has told you about a conversation. Let's just do that. A conversation, but they didn't send you a link, a direct link. We'll just do that. Or maybe you remember an issue from the past, but you don't know exactly where it is. And that kind of abruptly ends. Let's do next, we'll practice finding issues and creating cross links so they're easier to find in the future. It doesn't like that that's a long. Finding issues and creating cross links so to make the future easier. So they're easier to find in the future. Next, we'll practice finding issues and creating crosslinks to make things easier to find in the future. Yeah, it is a little wordy. Finding issues and creating crosslinks to make them easier to find in the future. Is there a verb that includes the future portion of it? To make them easier to find later. Let's just say that. Let's use gosh dang, okay. To improve discoverability. How does it like that better? Can I keep later? Yes, okay. Finding issues and pull requests. You can search for issues and pull requests in many ways, like by author, title, or even the most recently updated. You can also search in closed issues. So this is something about Hemingway, since that's a link. I know that, I think it's fine. Hemingway doesn't recognize Markdown, but that's a link. Creating references. When you link to another issue, a reference will appear to Okay, great. If you start typing the title of an issue or pull request after you type the pound symbol, GitHub will suggest sometime try. So when you want to create a crosslink, try typing the title of an issue. I bet that's still, it's not so bad. Pull request directly after you type the. See, I think that directly is important though, because there should not be a space, and people will do that. GitHub will suggest issues or pull requests that will link to the right place. To learn even more, check out GitHub's documentation. Okay, I think that's fine. We're doing it. Save. Okay, and then what are the other ones? This is a similar one. Why did I do this to myself? I have to probably think the same thing twice. So this just needs to be similar, kind of similar stuff. How to find issues and pull requests. You might want to do this. Finding conversations, creating links. When you're working in a repository, you may want to find it. Let's, you know what? Forget it. Let's just keep it exactly the same right now. Other than this. No, that's going to be too confusing. Let's just do this to learn about creating references, and then we'll do this so that it'll just be a little bit simpler. So that it's different is what I'm mainly concerned about. I don't want it to look exactly the same. I think that could confuse people, and I want them to be aware of what's going on. What are the other ones? So there's 01 next step. Your next steps can be found here. Okay, that's actually pretty cute. That's fine because it's going to point to the correct issue. Good. Was there something I was supposed to do there? No. I think it's fine. Okay. Let's commit this stuff. Git s, git add, commit -m, draft responses for step 2. There we go. And we are officially 2 out of 7 done with responses. We are getting there. I want to make sure there are things that can wait. I mean, everything can probably wait, but I don't know what I'm concerned about. Okay. Finding commits. Find the commit, that's already fine. Activity, find, and then this one I want to be really specific. Find the commit where find and reference the navigation commit. So this is a specific, like if I can tell the whole instruction in one sentence, that's the title of the step. I want to be really specific because I don't want anyone to have any, I want to make it easy for them, right? I don't want to give, if somebody's having an off day, if they're scatterbrained, if there's a distracting thing going on, I want them to be able to still be successful at this course, and that means being really, really clear. Talk about get blame, so these things to talk about, and then ask the user to find a specific commit on master. Okay, so that is going to be an instruction. Talk about get blame is going to be one of the things in the content. Create comment, some part of this is going to be instruction. comment some part of the SHA, at least the first 6 characters. And then this, I'm just gonna copy. So this, where the file, just like call it like it is, on master. Find the author, and actually I don't need them to find the author, I just need them to find the commit right now. And then the next thing they're gonna do is copy some part of the SHA, at least the first 6 characters. And then comment at least the first 6 characters of the SHA here. Now, if people don't know about the SHA, that's going to be fine. So talk about git blame. What's git blame? Git blame. What's a SHA? A SHA. Okay, let's do this. Okay, finding commits. An important part of version control is the ability to look into the past. It's important to look into the past. Done. No, not done. Okay. Why is it important to look into the past? Why? Because of a lot of reasons. Oh man. Okay, why? Because I'm gonna come back to that. My brain won't go. Let's get blame. And then what's a SHA? And then here, I'm just gonna leverage the amazing docs, git blame. Like that guy's known, just like, if you Google git blame, it's his face. That's kind of funny. Git blame shows what revision. Okay, there we go. Done. Why rewrite greatness? You know? Git blame is a git command, git functionality, let's say that shows what revision an author last modified each line of file. With this, people can find, with this, let's see, information. Let's see, let's go into the use cases. Information like who made a commit, when, and even why can be found this way. Yeah. If you aren't sure who introduced certain changes to a file, oh my gosh, to a file, you can use git blame to find out. This is, let's see, this is especially, or let's see, while git blame sounds rather accusatory, this is widely used to find and understand the context behind decisions. Yeah, okay. What's a SHA? What's a SHA and why does it matter? A SHA is a fingerprint of a commit. A SHA is a commit. A SHA is a commit. Yeah. The SHA is the reference to a specific commit. Those SHAs are used for other Git objects and other purposes, as well as other purposes outside of Git. 10 minutes left. Okay, a SHA is a commit. I don't need this. A SHA is a reference to a specific commit. Those SHAs, though SHAs are used for other Gits. Okay. by commenting or like referencing by link, or let's see, on GitHub, you can look at a specific commit to see what changes were made by whom and if those changes were a part of a pull request. The value here comes in the same way. Let's see, no, I'll come back to that. Well, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, like, you can do this, and maybe it just belongs up here, by using git blame and finding the story behind a commit. We're able to do more than just blame people. We're able to do more than just blame people for bad work. We're able, or bad work, for, want to keep it positive, but kind of hard to do that here. We're going to just blame people for code. We're able to see the story around why a commit was made. What is the associated pull request? Does the, here we go. Does the pull request, who approved the pull request? What tests were run on that commit before it was merged? Tests were run on that commit before it was merged. Yeah, that's important stuff. I want to say like nuts and bolts, but I want to keep it away from idioms for people whose first language is not English. The obvious reason to find things in history is to know about history. And with issues and pull requests, we can see a true story about history instead of just the nuts and bolts, instead of just the facts, instead of just the bare minimum of information. Okay, we'll start there. What's git blame? What's a SHA? And I'm going to make this also, every time I reference it, I'm going to do this. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. How is it in here? I don't think it's capitalized there. And like the pull request pane. Find the commit where the da-da-da file was added on the master branch. So again, just like wanting to be super, actually, I don't even think I need this about which branch, because the commit is going to be, arguably it could be the merged commit if it's the master branch, but that's not what it's going to say. It's never going to do that. This is enough information. Copy some part of the SHA, at least the first 6 characters, comment at least the first 6 characters of the SHA here in this issue. Okay. Let's Hemingway this bad boy. Paste. Ooh, pretty colors, but not so bad. More than, okay, I don't need just, you're right. We're able to see the story around why commits are. So that's going to be passive. What is the associated pull request? What test? Okay, passive is going to have to be there. The obvious reason to find things in history, okay, whenever I look at this, in like, I'm like, oh, that looks fine. But then when I look at it here, I'm like, ugh, it's right. The obvious reason to find things in history is to know about history. That sentence might be just worthless. And with issues and pull requests, we can see a true story about, we don't need the and. With issues and pull requests, we see a true story, a fuller, or a complete story about history instead of history, not just the bare minimum. That's fine. I think that makes sense. What's git blame? Was the revision author, information like who made a commit, can be found this way. Passive. I just don't hate passive as much as I should. This is true, it can be found that way. If you aren't sure who introduced certain changes to file, you can use git blame to find out. While git blame sounds rather accusatory, this is widely used to find and understand the context behind it. This can be used to understand the context behind decisions. Context around decisions, and it doesn't change the readability of the sentence. It's fine, let's keep it there. Grade 4 is not bad. A SHA is a reference to a specific commit. Those SHAs are used for other Git objects. Oh wait, SHAs are used, but additionally, SHAs are, that's a crap way to connect those sentences. A SHA can be a reference to a specific commit. A SHA is a reference to a specific Git object. In this case, it's a reference to a commit. Okay. In fact, let's just do that. We don't need to. On GitHub, you can look at a specific commit to see what changes were made by whom. Did I type whom all by myself? Wow. And that German grammar is really getting to me. And if those changes were a part of a pull request. On GitHub, you can look at a specific commit to see the changes introduced by whom and if they were a part of a pull request. Okay. Step 3, find the commit. Doesn't like my passive. Find the commit where, it's just going to be fine. Because otherwise, it needs a subject, and the subject would be where get a teacher, where the bot, or learning lab, and that, kind of takes away from the fantasy. We don't want that. We want it to be cute. Okay. Draft response for step 3. Because there's what, 6? How many steps in this whole thing? There's 7. And I got through to here. So of all the files, I got through more than half of them. For first draft of responses. Really the draft, this is the hardest part, I think, for writing responses. Once this is all done, I'll try to finish this up later, next week. I don't know exactly when right now. Then hopefully working with Hector to get the create state action all fixed up. This one, create status. And then it should actually be really close to publishing. Fingers crossed. Thank you for watching. See you later. Have a good weekend.